Well, welcome to a special watch-along episode of Under the Puppet. My name is Grant Baciocco, and the goal of this series is to invite puppeteers onto the show for a watch-along of some of their favorite pieces of puppetry. And for this episode, I'm joined by puppeteer and the creator of the Nickelodeon series The Barbarian and the Troll, Drew Massey. Drew, welcome to the show.
Hey, Grant. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited.
I'm actually one of two creators of the show, but yeah.
Oh, I did not mean to say that.
Slight mic.
I can redo the whole intro if you want.
No, I love it.
Okay.
Let's put it out there, warts and all. Let's just get to it.
There we go. It's the first episode, so it's not going to be we've already done this twice. Fans should know.
We have technical difficulties.
Woo! This will all be cut out. No, it's going to be left in. It's going to be left in. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I reached out to Drew, and I said, Drew, I have this idea for this show where we could do a watch-along and we could talk about some of our favorite pieces of puppetry. Do you have a favorite piece of puppetry? And for this, Drew, you have brought in a clip from Little Shop of Horrors, the 1986 film directed by Frank Oz. Why did you choose this clip to watch?
Well, it was directed by a master puppeteer. It was performed to perfection, and I think it stands as one of, it might be some of the best, might be the best puppetry ever put on film. It's spectacular. When I first saw this, I was like, how are they getting the lip sync dead on every time? With clearly what must be like a puppet that weighs half a ton. I mean, it's huge. It's made out of foam latex. It's rubbery. It's tactile. It's right in front of Rick Moranis. He's interacting with it. It's just so luscious. And, you know, then you get this fantastic musical in and around it, and it's just spectacular. I love this movie, and the Audrey 2 in this is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I will say that I love this movie too, and I think I heard one of the songs on Dr. Demento before. I didn't even know what it was. I just heard one of the songs on Dr. Demento, and it was either Feed Me or Steve Martin's Dentist song, and instantly fell in love with it, and I went and got the soundtrack. I had it on album, and I know that I just wore that album out because the songs were so good before even, I think the soundtrack came out before the movie came out. So I was like jazzed, and I remember seeing this in the theater, and I was like, this is a fantastic movie. And it was even, that's kind of before, I mean, I always liked puppets, but that's before I kind of got into puppets and realized that it was something you could do. But I'm right there with you. This is a fantastic film.
Yeah, I remember getting this soundtrack on vinyl. There were two albums, big albums that came out that summer. I think it was like Little Shop of Horrors and Beastie Boys' License to Ill, both of which made huge splashes in the music world, and only one had a great movie to accompany it.
Well, to show you me in that time period as a student, I only had the Little Shop of Horror ones, and that was my favorite one. So that shows you my musical taste right off the top of the bat there. Well, let's watch this. Let's head on over now. If you want to watch along with us, I have put a link to this video in the show notes, and it should start right at the correct time. But I will do a little countdown here before I press play so that we can be sort of synced up. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Does it have to be human? Does it have to be mine? Where am I supposed to get it? Feed me, Seymour. Feed me all night long. That's right, boy. You can do it.
Look at those ooh shapes. Oh my gosh.
Feed me all night long.
Yeah, no, I read that they had 60 puppeteers at one point. Like, I could believe it.
It was a lot, because you get all of the guys pulling cable. It's all cable operated, so it's people backstage pulling cables, and then there are cables for the leaves and the tentacles. All of it's being done at the same time, and inside that Audrey 2, if I'm not mistaken, is one Brian Henson.
Does this look
and he has stories about that. Apparently, I'll tell it for him since he's not here. Apparently, they were shooting Aliens on the stage next door. This was shot in England, and at the end of the day, he would just be wrecked because this is a brutal. You can see just the amount of movement he's doing there, and it is quite heavy. And he would just feel like a 90-year-old man, and he'd come crawling into this room next to the stage, and a sports doctor who was like the lead sports doctor for I guess the local football soccer team would like wrap him in plastic and put him in ice and put all these balms on him, and also Sigourney Weaver would like come in as well, and he would like wrap them both up and apply these magic remedies to them, and they would both go sleep it off and then be fine the next day. But he said it was a rite of healing he went through with Sigourney as she was shooting Aliens and had to get into this fantastic lifter contraption every day.
Now, didn't you say, and I didn't know this, but they filmed this like at half speed or something like that so they could do the lip sync?
That's what's genius about it. Look at Rick Moranis. He had to sing all of this at, I guess it was half speed, but yeah, look how fast that plane is moving. That is a slight camera cheat in that they're doing it at half speed. That's why it's so precise.
Yeah.
But Rick had to practice singing all this, lip syncing, and make it look natural as a human, which, bravo, man. Yeah, look at those tentacles. Right here, half speed Rick. We had to raise his eyebrows at half speed there.
Wait a minute. That's not a very nice thing to say, but it's true, isn't it? No.
I always like that part where he grabs the mouth and kind of shoves, this isn't some, chroma keyed in thing. It's really there, and he grabs it and, tells it to shut up.
Yeah, and the tentacle just shoving him towards the window. It's just so visceral. Fantastic. And I love their duet here. It's so good.
If you want a rationale, it isn't very hard to see. No. Stop and think it over, pal. The guy sure looks like plant food to me. The guy sure looks like plant food to me. The guy sure looks like plant food to me.
I mean, he's singing with volume and puffing out his cheeks. How he does that at half speed, I don't know.
I always like this part too.
Yeah. Look at the sculpture on that plant. And that perfect tap. They had specialized tentacles for everything there, and there was another story that Brian told, or maybe Frank told it, I don't know, about placing there was one specialized tentacle that placed a coin in the telephone when Audrey 2 was making a phone call, and it was just like this super complex shot where there's just so much involved in it, and then they had to get it like right in the slot every time, and they did something like 40 takes or something, and they got it in 40, and Frank was like, "Nah, it's not good enough. Keep going." So they shot like 40 more, and finally he's like, "Yeah, 40's good." It was just impossible. I mean, now you'd have the tentacle just kind of get near it and then CG it in, but man, everything in that movie was in camera. Super impressive.
You mentioned Brian Henson puppeteered in this, and I did not know this until I started looking up at the film, but Heather Henson actually has a cameo as one of Steve Martin's patients.
Yes.
And so I didn't even realize that.
Yep, I forgot that.
And then I also recently, before we recorded this, watched the original ending which was cut from the film because it just because everybody died in the, in the original ending.
The planet gets decimated. Yeah.
Right. But like all the, the lead characters were all dead at the end of the film. And then the first test audience was like, no, we love these people. You can't kill them. But they said that, I forgot, I didn't write this part down, but they said that, it was cut, but it cost 1/5 of the film's budget to film that original ending. That just didn't work.
Doubt it.
Yeah, because it just had plants bursting through walls and eating people left and right. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was truly spectacular, but didn't play. Movie still made money, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, and we're still talking about it today for sure. Have you ever worked on sort of a creature like this? I mean, I know kind of like we did Earth to Ned, which had sort of creatures like this, but have you done like a lot of creature work like this? Like Men in Black? Was this sort of Men in Black type stuff?
That's probably my closest thing to this type of work is it's Men in Black, because there was a lot of like cable operated stuff on Mikey. That at the very beginning they called that creature Mikey, the one who was masquerading as a guy hiding in a truck, and then he throws off and then he's got those tentacle eyes. I did those tentacle eyes, and those were cable operated, which is really fun. And all that cable stuff is harder than it looks, because the cables themselves always stretch. So you start out being able to do one thing, and like minutes later you'll find your range has changed somewhat. So it really takes a lot of feathering it and feeling it out. I don't know, I imagine, I've never flown a fighter jet, but I imagine like or old biplanes or something. They're fun and challenging because they'll always change on you. So that's why it's even more impressive having done some of that type of work. Just thinking about all of the tentacles and the vines there operating, and almost, it's like, it's difficult. And what they got on film is just magical, because the level of difficulty in achieving it is just top of hardness on the hardness scale.
Well, one other little fact I read about it is the movie had 6 versions of the plant, and the smallest one was only 4 inches tall, and then the one at the end of the film was over 12 feet tall at its fullest, which is just crazy. It's just, if you have not seen Little Shop of Horrors, you got to see. If you're a puppeteer, you got to see this film, because it's amazing. It's really great.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of comedy, it's great. It's got Steve Martin, Rick Moranis, and Ellen Green, she's fantastic in this movie. Who else?
Bill Murray, Christopher Guest in small cameos. Both of those guys. Yeah. John Candy. John Candy, right? The radio Joseph DJ. Yeah. They're all really, really good. Yeah. Tisha Campbell is one of the singers. Yeah, it's definitely a good film. Well, Drew, thank you so much for bringing this in and showing it to us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody check out that movie. It's really good.
All right, there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will talk to you soon right here on Under the Puppet. This episode of Under the Puppet was edited by Steven Staver and featured music by Dan Ring. Help spread the word about the show by sharing your favorite Under the Puppet episode with a friend. Under the Puppet is copyright 2022 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com